Charles didn't really mind. Greta just didn't know about Isabel's song, and it wasn't a grave mistake. After the awkward exchange, Greta realized she couldn't get a word in and could only sat beside Charles quietly. At that moment, it dawned on her that she might not be a good fit for the group. She had never even heard about some of the things that they were talking about. Hence, she felt more like a prop by Charles's side. However, things were very different for Sophie. Whether it was at the University of Medicine or here, Sophie could always chime in on whatever topics the four men were discussing, and her comments were always acknowledged by them. It was as if she knew everything. Greta didn't think it was possible for someone to be well-versed in everything. Next to her, Isabel was also able to share her insights, which made Greta feel inferior in comparison. Isabel's ability to articulate her thoughts flawlessly only added to Greta's sense of inadequacy. By the way, there's a serious subprime mortgage crisis happening in England. You all should be cautious, Sophie reminded them. After all their companies had branches there. They would all be implicated if they weren't vigilant. You're right. The subprime mortgage crisis is quite serious, Tristan agreed. Felix, you need to remind Ophelia. All right. I'm going to call her later tonight. She is quite capable. As long as she doesn't spend all her time thinking about dating, I think she should be able to deal with this, Felix replied. If she can't handle it, I'll go to England myself in 2 days' time, he added after a moment of contemplation. That's more like it, Tristan replied. He had never doubted Ophelia's capabilities. However, the subprime mortgage crisis was quite critical. Hence, he reckoned that it was better for Felix to head over there. Ophelia's delicate features sprung to Sophie's mind at the mention of her name. I remember that she really likes Tristan. Having an outstanding boyfriend is also quite troublesome since I have to be wary of people eyeing him all the time. Right then, Jennifer and Minerva showed up at Nocturnal. Jennifer knew that they were there and deliberately asked Minerva out. It took Jennifer some time before she finally spotted the group. Minerva pulled Jennifer aside and said, Jennifer, what are you doing? You know that Mr. Tristan is not exactly fond of you. Why are you still trying to approach him? The upper echelons of Gypsdale were all aware of just how much Tristan adored Sophie. It was baffling that Jennifer kept doing this, as she was essentially setting herself up to be humiliated. It was as if she was wanting to be tortured for no reason. Minerva, since you're already here with me, could you stop with the unsupportive remarks? I just want to take a look at him. It's not like I'm planning to do anything, Jennifer lamented. Now that you've seen him, what are you going to do? So what if she's seen him? There's simply nothing she can do about it. Deep down, Jennifer knew Minerva was right. Tristan was right there, but she didn't even have the courage to take a step forward. Moreover, Sophie was sitting right next to him. Jennifer couldn't help but grow green with envy at the sight of Tristan hanging on to Sophie's every word. Jennifer, I'm really saying these things because I see you as a friend. If you need to give up, then just give up. There are plenty of men in this world. Tristan is not the only man around. As long as she was willing to shift her focus to people around her, Minerva was certain that her friend would realize that she was actually surrounded by many outstanding men. However, Jennifer just wouldn't listen to her. She could see no one else but Tristan. Jennifer just couldn't bear to give up. She was infatuated with Tristan, and she vowed to make the man hers, no matter what it would take. Sophie was exceptionally sensitive to others' stares. It didn't take her a long time to notice that Jennifer was eyeing her. Tristan had sensed that someone was staring at him too. He turned his head around and noticed that Jennifer's gaze was transfixed on him. This woman just doesn't know when to give up, huh? Haven't I made myself clear enough? Surely, she doesn't hope her feelings toward me will make me hate her. Tristan really detested Jennifer. She was the only woman who had ever annoyed him so much. Knowing that Jennifer was looking at them, Tristan deliberately hugged Sophie and kissed her lips. Jennifer's heart shattered into pieces when she saw Tristan kissing Sophie right in front of so many people. Doesn't he know I'm here? He did see me, And yet he chose to kiss that wretched woman in front of me. Jennifer knew that Tristan intentionally did that to aggravate her. Does he think that the display of affection will deter me? Jennifer refused to admit defeat. Tristan was too cruel to her. He never cared to spare her any tenderness. Minerva shook her head. Tristan was already stating his intention outright. Why can't Jennifer just face the reality and give up? Jennifer, let's go. Don't you feel horrible too? Minerva didn't wish to see Jennifer tormenting herself. No. I don't want to go back. Just accompany me for a while longer. Jennifer ordered a bottle of liquor and said, "Let's drink. Perhaps I won't feel so terrible if I'm drunk." Meanwhile, Sophie bit down hard on Tristan's lips. Tristan felt the sharp shooting pain and let go of her. I'm not an actress, and I don't fancy acting out intimate scenes in front of everyone else. Remember that, Sophie uttered. She decided to spare him this time, but she wouldn't do the same next time. All right. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Jennifer is really annoying. Why do we see her everywhere we go? Sophie grumbled. She really loathed seeing Jennifer. How about I ask someone to chase her away? Forget it. This is nocturnal, not our home. She has the right to come here, Sophie replied. They couldn't deprive her of her rights. The others couldn't join in on Sophie and Tristan's conversation. Meanwhile, Isabel spotted Jennifer as well. She rolled her eyes at the sight of the latter. Why does this woman keep showing up everywhere? Why can't she just give up her futile feelings? Felix, will any man fall for a girl like Jennifer? Doesn't she know when to give up? Of course not. Well, at least I won't. I only have eyes for you. Who is Jennifer? Felix joked. Tristan stood up and prepared to leave at 10:30. Charles was rendered speechless. It's been a while since we last hung out. Why are you leaving so early? It's only 10:30, he groaned. Didn't we use to drink late into the night when Tristan wasn't in a relationship? What's he doing now? Enjoy yourselves. Sophie has a class tomorrow morning. We're going back first, Tristan muttered. He felt like it was a waste of time staying there. They might as well call it a day and head back home. He might be in for a treat if they were early. With so many people around, it was inconvenient for Tristan to hug and kiss Sophie. All right, you guys should go. We're heading back too. There was no point in staying back. Mr. Tristan, you treat Sophie really well. After that afternoon, Greta finally understood how much Tristan spoiled Sophie. That's why you had better not offend her. Even I don't dare to do so. Since Greta was now his girl, he found it prudent to warn her. Otherwise, even he would get into trouble. Greta had no choice but to nod despite the resentment she felt. We're all women, so how did Sophie end up being so lucky as to meet someone who's not only amazing but patient with her? On her way home, Greta gave the matter a lot of thought. The next day, she went to see Simon upon arriving at school. He happened to be having breakfast with Sandra. At the sight of Greta, Sandra informed him, "Your pursuer is here." She couldn't believe how persistent Greta was. "I don't care who you are. As long as you try to get close to Simon, you'll be my enemy." Without even looking up, Simon knew who it was and let out a sigh. "I've already said everything that needs to be said, so why doesn't she understand? Simon, I know that you have always disliked me, but you don't have to fret anymore. I have a boyfriend now and will stop clinging to you. Going forward, just don't bring up my naive actions in the past." Truth be told, she really liked Simon but had decided to give up on him due to his unchanging attitude toward her. Her words finally caused Simon to look up. "Ms. Soros, you have finally seen the light. Congratulations on this wonderful news." He was elated that she would stop bugging him and couldn't care less about who her boyfriend was. Why is he so happy? Greta couldn't help but feel disappointed. Simon is nothing compared to Charles. But why am I feeling this way? Anyway, I wish that you find happiness too. Since he likes Sophie, He should be focused on pursuing her. In fact, I hope Mr. Tristan hears about it. That would certainly be perfect. With that, Greta went off to have breakfast by herself. As for Simon, he was in a particularly good mood and ate another bun. You seem to be very happy. Of course. I can't believe there's someone so tasteless as to fall for Greta. He's such a fool. Greta doesn't have any sincerity at all. All that matters to her is her boyfriend's status and other pursuits of vanity. Meanwhile, Charles sneezed loudly in his office. What's wrong? Do you have a cold from overindulging in your desires? Felix asked candidly. Charles gave him the side eye. Felix, is that who you think I am? Charles, I'm telling you the truth. Greta isn't your type. Felix couldn't help but said it out loud. Even though it was rare for Charles to finally be in a serious relationship, his choice of a partner was utterly shocking. I knew it. You guys don't approve of her. Why? What's wrong with Greta? She seems fine to me. I can sense that she has insincere motives. Felix, what are you saying? Don't I deserve happiness too? Charles wasn't angry. He was just disappointed that everyone was pessimistic about his relationship. Fine. Do whatever you want. Felix couldn't be bothered to continue the topic. After all, it was too early to tell who would be hurt at the end since Charles was a playboy. Meanwhile, Simon and Sandra approached Sophie the moment she entered the classroom. He told her what happened on a happy note. Tell me, who is the idiot who fell for Greta? Charles Quigley. Sophie answered since it wasn't a secret. Who? Simon obviously knew who he was, just like everyone in Gypsdale. He just couldn't believe his ears. Exactly who I said it was. You didn't hear me wrong. I know I shouldn't say this, but Charles? Are you sure? He actually fancies a woman that I'm not even interested in? Where are his standards? Simon didn't want to sound mean, but just couldn't help it. Sandra patted him on the back. Simon, Greta is still a girl at the end of the day. Even if you don't like her, you shouldn't disparage her. Fine, I'm sorry. Nonetheless, he couldn't care less about the matter. Who knows, Charles might really be into girls like that. Meanwhile, it was anatomy class that day. The professor, in a particularly good mood, was smiling broadly at everyone. Professor, you seem happy today. Did something wonderful happen? This professor's mood is really unpredictable. There's major news today, haven't you heard? The headquarters of International Medical Association is moving to Chon AEA. What? Really? Every medical student naturally knew about International Medical Association, as it was everyone's dream to join it one day. Oh my God. I would die without regrets if I was able to meet Dr. Smith. The students in the classroom got all excited over the news. Simon, too, added happily, my dad is a big fan of his. If he were to hear of this, he would definitely jump for joy. Your dad? That's right. Dr. Smith is my dad's only idol. As someone born into a prestigious family within the medical fraternity, Simon had heard plenty of stories about Barney. Me too. I decided to take up medicine after reading one of Dr. Smith's books, Sandra mumbled. I want to meet Dr. Smith and Professor Gulliver too. Sandra was truly stupefied upon hearing the news. Oh. However, Sophie barely reacted at all. Sophie, with your talent, you'll definitely be able to join International Medical Association. Now that you're our only hope, you have to work hard, all right? Sandra was cognizant that she wasn't good enough, but Sophie was certainly cut out for it. Once you're accepted, remember to let me meet Dr. Smith and Professor Gulliver, okay? Sure. Upon hearing her words, one of their classmates snorted in laughter. What sort of place do you think International Medical Association is? Do you think they'll accept just about anybody? You guys are being ridiculous. That's right. Even the professor might not get in. And yet, Sophie can? What sort of joke is that? However, the professor looked in Sophie's direction. I might not stand a chance, but Sophie does. Sophie, you have to work hard. I'm confident that you'll be able to do it. It doesn't matter what the other students say. As long as she wants to do it, she'll definitely make the cut. All right, Professor. Don't worry. I'll definitely work hard. Didn't International Medical Association move here because of me? Why do I need to work harder? Nevertheless, she kept those thoughts to herself, for no one would believe her even if she said it. Meanwhile, when Arius was finally discharged from the hospital, Sophie and Barney came to pick him up. After getting a change of clothes, Arius looked dashing in his outfit. "I'm finally out," he exclaimed. Although he was a doctor, he hated being warded in the hospital as it was a tormenting experience for him. Now that you have recovered, you should go help out at International Medical Association, which has just moved here. After taking such a long break, it's about time he got back to work. Arius was rendered speechless. "Dr. Smith, I just got discharged today. Can't you let me rest for a day or two first? Why are you pushing me so hard?" "How can I not be? Even though I'm here, many members of the Medical Association have yet to arrive. Where are they going to stay when they do? Have you arranged for their accommodation? I already instructed you to get it done before I left. And yet, have you sorted everything out? You should be counting your blessing that I didn't reprimand you for it. And now, you actually dare to talk back." "Dr. Smith, I'm not trying to slack off, but so much has happened recently that my hands are tied. It's not like I'm someone lazy. Dr. Smith, don't worry. Let me handle it." Since they were coming over because of her, Sophie figured that she was obliged to help. "Sophie, don't bother, as this is Arius' job. You should just focus on your research. Arius and I will take care of everything else." "Dr. Smith, are you being biased? Why don't you let Sophie help when she knows Chonea like the back of her hand? I was the one who moved International Medical Association here. Therefore, the responsibility is mine. Sophie does not need any unnecessary burden." As Chonea was a great place for doing medical research, Barney felt that this was the best choice he had ever made. This was particularly so after he was disappointed by those from Englander. All he did was move International Medical Association to Chonea, and yet, they imprisoned him for that. From his perspective, they had crossed the line doing so. "Dr. Smith, Arius has just recovered, so let me take care of it. It's nothing more than 100 houses. All I need to do is to buy up an entire residential area. Really. Let me know if you're in need of funds. Money is something International Medical Association isn't short of." Even though the expenses for their medical research were high, they were very well funded by the many tycoons who rely on them for life-saving treatment. After all, one's life was the most important thing in this world. Don't worry. I know what to do." Sophie planned to seek Tristan's help on the matter, for she was clueless when it came to real estate. It shouldn't be a problem for Tristan. He should be able to get a good deal on all the houses. As for the building of International Medical Association headquarters, it was a lot more complicated than just purchasing real estate. Instead, a lot more technical expertise needed to go into it. As long as they could come up with a design, the civil engineers would be able to proceed quickly with the construction. After sending Arius to his place, Barney decided to stay with him for the time being. "Dr. Smith, are you sure you want to live together with me? I'll have to warn you that I don't know how to cook." He had grown used to staying alone and didn't feel comfortable having a housemate. "Why? What's wrong with it? Since both of us are alone here, we can take care of each other." "This is a wonderful idea. You're just going to order me around." As his mentee, Arius obviously knew what Barney had in mind. "I'm glad that you're aware of it, so stop protesting. I'm sure you know that any resistance is futile." Barney spoke in a ruthless tone. In response, Arius didn't feel like saying another word. It was, after all, unnecessary since no one would listen to him. As for Sophie, this was her first time visiting Arius' mansion. She was surprised by the location, as it wasn't far from Tristan's mansion. Tristan's mansion is nearby, so if there's anything you need, you can go over and get it from him. Otherwise, both these lonely men might starve to death. Sophie, don't worry about us. We won't go hungry. We can easily order food delivery. Even though we can't cook, we can enjoy Chenia's most popular local service, food delivery. That said, I would suggest you find a housekeeper to cook for you, as eating takeout every day isn't sustainable. Since these two guys are rich, they should get a helper to take care of their living needs. Good idea. We'll hire a housekeeper then. I love Chenian food anyway, Barney agreed. After settling both of them in, Sophie received a call from one of Chenia's top leaders, saying that they wanted to meet her. When she arrived on schedule, it was the president who greeted her. Sophie, the decision of Dr. Smith to move International Medical Association to Chonea is an extremely positive development. If you need any help from us, we'll be happy to oblige. Given that the president had offered the country's help, it didn't make sense for Sophie to reject it. Hence, she brought up the issue of accommodation for members of the medical association. That's not a problem at all. There's currently a high-end residential area being built on the outskirts of Gypsdale. We can provide it to International Medical Association for free. The president was decisive in his decision-making. After all, it paid to be generous to the outstanding talents who worked at the medical association. In that case, I would like to thank you on their behalf, Mr. President, Sophie replied calmly. I heard that you're in the medical field too. Are you planning to join them? The president asked candidly. Yes, that's right. Sophie didn't feel the need to hide the fact, for Barney had come all the way to Chonea on her account. I'm glad to hear that. With the help of your generation, Chenea's future is getting brighter by the day in both military and medical fields. Thereafter, the president lamented. I heard that your grandfather used to be in the army. I'm sure that he would be very proud of your achievements today. Sophie and the leader of Chonea settled various problems about International Medical Association before parting ways. With the government's support, the matter would be easier to resolve. Sophie invited Barney and Arius to dinner that night. Barney was her mentor, after all. He had been too busy to spare any time, so now that he was finally free, Sophie had to treat him to a meal. Since Tristan knew Barney was Sophie's mentor, he naturally had to join the dinner as well. The dinner would be held at Blossom Garden. After signing the final document on his table, Tristan looked at the time and found that it was almost 6 in the evening. He immediately grabbed his coat and left the office while giving Sophie a call. It's about time. I'll go pick you up. Are you done? He asked. At the moment, Sophie was at TS Entertainment. Yes. Tell me when you're here. It was already cold in Gypsdale. As Sophie was very prone to feeling cold, she didn't want to wait downstairs in such weather. All right. Remember to wear your coat. Knowing that Sophie was afraid of the cold, Tristan had prepared lots of wool coats for her in different colors and styles. He had also gotten her scarves and hats that matched the color of those coats. Basically, he had all sorts of winter items for her. I know. Drive safe. After hanging up, Sophie told Mark and the others, you guys have had too many events lately, so you should rest for some time. I'll be giving all of you a month off. You can go anywhere you want. The company will shoulder the expenses for you. Work was not the only thing important in life. One had to travel and have fun from time to time. This was especially the case for celebrities, who had to deal with huge pressure due to their profession. If they didn't relieve their stress in time, they could encounter a lot of problems in the future. Hearing Sophie, Jonathan was dumbfounded. A whole month? They're a popular band. How could they rest for 1 month? He pointed out. No one knew what the entertainment industry would be like in a month. This was why none of the popular celebrities dared to rest. They all worked like there was no tomorrow for fear that their juniors would surpass them one day and take away their spots. Cecilia appeared just then and interjected. Don't worry. I'm here, so publicity is not a problem. Things have indeed been too tiring for them lately. They need to relax. If one only worked and never rested, one would be no different from a robot. Efficiency was also important in the entertainment industry. Meanwhile, Mark furrowed his brows and stated, "Sophie, we don't need to rest." "I'm serious." Sunny nodded to that, saying, "That's right. Sophie, don't go easy on us just because we're good friends. We're the company's artists, so it's only right that we earn money for the company." The other 3 members all agreed with Sunny and Mark. "I'm letting you rest so that you can do even better. It's time for you to prepare your next album, isn't it? How could you have time to write good songs under such intense work conditions? You are singers, and what matters the most is your music. Without that, what will you show the public?" Sophie was once in the band with them, so she knew what they needed. She went on, "Don't worry. It's not like you're the only band under TS Entertainment. You will only be away for a month. TS Entertainment will not go bankrupt." "Sophie, how could you be so sweet? Actually, you're right. We've been very pressured recently, but thankfully, our fans are very understanding." No matter how exhausting it was, the band members were happy because they could do what they loved. Besides, it wasn't an easy feat for the 5 of them to keep doing music together, so they cherished it a lot. "Okay, it's decided, then. Jonathan, you should go with them. I only have one request. Do not get into any scandals. But if you want to date, go ahead. The company has no restrictions for that." It was about time for them to date. No matter what happened in life, it would be great to have a companion. "Where should we go? How about Horba? There are lots of beautiful girls there. Maybe we'll find love there," Sunny said excitedly. Sophie told them, "It's up to you where you want to go. I have a lot of things to deal with, so I won't be able to go with you." Indeed, she had been quite busy recently, so she could not travel with them. "What a shame. It would be great if you could come with us. That way, the 6 of us can spend time with each other." Before, when the 6 of them were in the band, they were always together wherever they went. Although they missed the old times a lot, it was impossible to turn back time. "We will get a chance one day. When I'm done with the work at hand, I'll hang out with you guys," said Sophie with a smile. "Right. We will never be able to return to the time when we were together and free of worries. But it's okay. We have many chances in the future. At least we're together now, aren't we?" Just then, Isabel returned from the recording studio and happened to hear their conversation. She chimed in, "Bring me with you if you're traveling somewhere by then. I want to go with you guys too." "Sure. You're our colleague. Of course, we'd bring you." Thanks to Sophie, everything was progressing positively. All of them were doing well, and things would only get better. Isabel approached Sophie and suggested, "Sophie, let's have dinner together." "I'll pass. Why don't you eat with Felix tonight?" "I have a dinner appointment later," Sophie replied. Moreover, she was the one who arranged the dinner. Okay. Isabel knew that Sophie's schedule was packed, but she still enjoyed sharing a meal with the latter. Sophie stroked Isabel's head and coaxed, "Be good. Felix is already waiting for you downstairs, isn't he?" There was no denying that Felix was really sweet to Isabel. Every day, he would come to the company to pick her up. "All right, I'll go to him now. If you have any gatherings next time, remember to invite me. I like eating with you guys." Hearing Isabel, her assistant couldn't help but giggle. "Isabel likes our boss so much." At that moment, Tristan came upstairs. When he saw Sophie talking to Mark and the others, he walked over. "Why did you come up? I thought I told you to wait downstairs." Sophie figured Tristan should be tired after working for the whole day. "I'm here to fetch you. Are you done? I think we should leave now." "Yeah. Anyway, you guys plan your trip. I'll get going first." Sophie had given them the necessary reminders, so it was time for her to go to the restaurant. "Okay. Go ahead." While looking at Sophie's and Tristan's figures from the back, Mark felt a sense of regret. If I had acted resolutely and stayed with Sophie back then, could things have turned out differently? Unfortunately, regret could not change the past. Sophie would be the biggest regret of his life. He felt as though a part of himself was lost forever. Even so, Mark was grateful that he could continue to stay by her side as a band. The Wheelers would always be around. To be able to continue watching her from afar was enough for him. Upon sensing Mark's disappointment, Sonny stepped forward and patted the former on the shoulders. "Stop thinking about it, Mark. You shouldn't chase what doesn't belong to you. Come on. Let's take a trip to Harbor." The only way to forget someone was to find someone new. Only then could one move on completely. "Sure. You decide where we go. I have no opinions." Mark gave Sonny a faint smile. "After all, it's just a vacation to relax. Where we go doesn't really make that much of a difference. Going to Harbor would mean that not many people would recognize who they were. That way, they could just be their authentic self." In the meantime, Tristan was driving Sophie to Blossom Garden. On the way there, he asked Sophie, "In regards to the International Medical Association moving here, is there anything that you would need my help with?" Even though Arius had been the one overseeing the whole process, Tristan would help them in any way he could without hesitation should they need his help. "We do need help at first. We wanted to buy a building that'll serve as the residential area for the members of the Medical Association, but the president had approached me and offered to be in charge of that. Because of that, there were no significant problems to address at the moment. As for the building for the International Medical Association headquarters, it wasn't a problem solved by purchasing real estate. They would have to spend some time constructing the building from scratch. It's best if the governing party plays a role in providing solutions. After all, moving the International Medical Association to Chon-AEA is a huge benefit to our country." Tristan was not at all fazed by the fact that the president himself decided to take up some responsibilities. Before the duo knew it, they had arrived at Blossom Garden. By the time they parked and got out of the car, Arius and Barney had arrived as well. The four of them made their way inside. "Dr. Smith, the food in this restaurant is scrumptious. If you would like to have some in the future, you can just give Mr. Tristan a call and ask him to deliver it to us." Arius flashed a cheeky grin. He was a huge fan of the food in Blossom Garden as well. "Dr. Smith, if you like the food here, I'll ask someone to send the food over to you," Tristan promised, completely unfazed by Arius' antics. After all, Barney was someone worthy of respect. Moreover, he had become Sophie's mentor. "Don't listen to him, Mr. Tristan. He just wants the food for himself. Ignore him. If I want to eat here, I can come here on my own." Barney did not play along with Arius. "Dr. Smith, I'm your mentee. How could you do this to me?" Arius pouted, feeling as though he was at the bottom of the food chain. "My mentee is now Sophie," Barney retorted without missing a beat. Arius sighed dramatically. "Dr. Smith, the president has met up with me. He said that the country would provide the residential area for free. You don't have to worry about this issue anymore," Sophie interrupted. "Is that so? I didn't want to bother him initially, but since he has offered, that'll be for the best." So the only thing that we have to work on now is the building for the International Medical Association headquarters. Since there's no building in Gypsdale that fulfills all our criteria, we can only build a place ourselves." Naturally. As of then, there was not a single building in the entire world that was suitable to be transformed into the International Medical Association headquarters. Thus, they could only build one by themselves. "Dr. Smith, another thing. Are we just giving up on those members of the International Medical Association who don't want to move here?" Sophie asked. "Yes. If they don't want to move, we won't force them. They have full autonomy over what they think is best for them." Barney was never one to force his opinion on others. Arius nodded in agreement. "That's right. Nothing good ever comes from forcing someone to do something that they don't want to. If they don't want to move, then they don't have to." When the dishes came, Sophie got some of the signature dishes of Blossom Garden for Barney. Please try some, Dr. Smith. The food here is not bad. The Chilean dishes are very authentic. Barney took a bite. His eyes immediately lit up with pleasant surprise. Delicious. Barney had gotten tired of eating hamburgers in Englander. He had always known that Chilean dishes are good, but he had never had any authentic ones. Yet the dishes in Blossom Garden blew him away. So good. Due to his limitations in speaking the Chilean language, Barney could only hum in delight. When Arya saw Barney's response, he could not help but comment, "I told you that you'd like the food here. You're the one who didn't believe me." Arius was confident that most people would find Chilean dishes to their liking. "You're right. This is scrumptious. Can I eat here often in the future?" Barney did not have any financial restrictions, but he was well aware that some places required membership. "Of course. I'll ask Ms. Blossom to issue you a membership card later. You can just ring Ms. Blossom up whenever you feel like coming here," Tristan answered. They were very familiar with Ms. Blossom. "You see that, Arius? That's how awesome Sophie's boyfriend is. Thank goodness you're not the one Sophie is in love with," Barney teased. Otherwise, there would have been no advantages. Arius tried to defend himself but ultimately chose to stay silent. He was aware that he would always be the target from then on. Nothing he said could change that. All he wanted to do then was to have his meal in peace. It was not until he was alone with Sophie did he speak. "I heard from an ex-colleague in the medical association that Nicholas is still alive. That man sure is as hard to kill as a cockroach. He can even stay alive after all of that." Sophie remained silent. She had not heard Nicholas' name in so long. However, the sudden mention of his name did not agitate Sophie at all. "He almost died this time. He won't let Tristan go so easily," Sophie remarked. Nicholas was an exceptionally stubborn man. If he wanted something, he would make it happen by hook or by crook. Right now, there was nothing he was more obsessed with than Sophie herself. "If he wants to die, no one can stop him," Sophie added lightly. Nicholas was truly hard to get rid of. Everyone expected him to be a goner in the last incident. The Sable family in Englander is very restless. My guess is that they're plotting their revenge. "You should ask Tristan to be more cautious," Arius advised. He knew how much Sophie adored that man and how she wouldn't be able to handle it if she lost Tristan. Because of that, he took the extra effort to warn her. Otherwise, he could not be bothered by another man's life. "I will." It was already old news that Nicholas wanted Tristan dead. It was only natural that Sophie knew about it. Nonetheless, Nicholas probably wouldn't return to Chon-Aea for the time being, so everyone should be safe for now. If he still wants to come back, then we shall make it a one-way trip for him. I'm fed up with his obsession. Sophie clenched her fists. They had already lost too much time because of Nicholas. That's right. Killing him might bring up a lot of issues, but not killing him will bring more trouble. Arius concluded that it was easier to just kill Nicholas off. Meanwhile, Nicholas had almost recovered fully. Nevertheless, he was still receiving therapy sessions from a psychiatrist. In his opinion, the psychiatrist kept bringing up topics that he did not want to continue discussing. He frowned slightly as his patience began to thin. "Mr. Sab." In the next second, Nicholas shot up straight and grabbed the psychiatrist by his neck. "Didn't I ask you to quit all this nonsense? Why do you have so much stuff to say? Don't you know that it's annoying?" His reaction completely caught the psychiatrist off guard. After so many therapy sessions, the psychiatrist thought that Nicholas was improving. To his dismay, Nicholas was still as volatile as he was before therapy. Nicholas' expression was extremely ferocious. "I don't like you yapping in my ear all the time. It's driving me nuts." Upon hearing the commotion, Alex entered the room. As the scene played in front of him, he quickly took a step forward in an attempt to rescue the psychiatrist. Unfortunately, Nicholas had caught sight of what Alex was about to do. "Alex, Have you forgotten your lesson? Nicholas asked icily. Do I have to kill you in order to help you remember? Alex froze, not knowing how to respond. Mr. Nicholas, please be reasonable. He's just a doctor. There's no need for you to be angry at him. Please let him go. Humph. Do I have to choose who I can and cannot be angry at now? I'm not happy. I want to kill him right now. What can you guys do about it? As he was speaking, his grip around the psychiatrist's neck tightened. Alex could merely stand at the side and watch helplessly. If Nicholas had made up his mind to kill somebody, no one could save them. Furthermore, Alex was aware that he was just a humble person with no influence. In his final breaths, the psychiatrist had never expected himself to die in the hands of his patients. When Nicholas was sure that the psychiatrist had passed away, he loosened his grip and allowed the psychiatrist's limp body to fall to the ground. Clean up this mess, Nicholas commanded coldly. A dead person was nothing new to them. Yes, boss. There was nothing else Alex could do. I dread to find out how old Mr. Sable will react when he hears that boss has killed the psychiatrist. This father-son duo is not to be messed with. Go tell father that no more psychiatrist is to show up at my mansion. Otherwise, I'll take them out one by one, thundered Nicholas. I am not sick. I'm completely fine, aren't I? How could I be sick? Nicholas refused to admit that he needed help. Mr. Nicholas, old Mr. Sable is just doing this for your good, Alex explained. I don't need others to be good to me. All he wanted at that moment was one person, and that person was Sophie. He almost died at the hands of Tristan the other day, but that did not faze him. He would not give up so easily. Since he was still alive, he decided that it was Tristan's turn to die. This time, I want a foolproof plan. I want Tristan dead. Do you hear me? Nicholas hollered like the maniac that he was. Alex was rendered speechless. He really was at a loss for words. Who do you think Tristan is? How can his life be taken away so easily just because you say so? Besides, he has Sophie by his side. How are we to go against two big shots? Was the previous incident not enough of a lesson? Mr. Nicholas, for the sake of your safety, we have to carefully think this through. Alex began. Just because we managed to save your life the last time doesn't mean you'll be as lucky the next time. I don't care how you do it. I just want Tristan's head on a silver platter. You don't have to tell me anything else. Nicholas left Alex no room to argue. I'm tired. I'll be going to rest. Do not disturb me. With that, he left. Alex quickly summoned people to get rid of the corpse inside the room. Just like that, an innocent psychiatrist lost his life. If word got out, no other psychiatrist would dare to accept Nicholas as a patient. When Javier caught wind of the news, he was livid. Everything in the living room was smashed by him. Is there something wrong with his memory? He almost died last time. Is that still not enough for him to learn his lesson? Javier hollered. He knew that Tristan was not someone to be messed with. Once again, Alex did not dare to utter a response. Both the father and the son had the same temper. No one could control them when they were enraged. Alex, you better keep your eye on him. If anything were to happen to him, I'd bury you alongside his body. Javier only had one son. No matter how horrible of a person Nicholas was, Javier couldn't just let him die. Poor Alex was beginning to question his life choices. Old Mr. Sable, Mr. Nicholas is too stubborn. He's set on having Tristan's head. If we can't bring his head back, no one here will be left in peace. Alex was merely stating the truth. Javier fell silent. Tristan's head? Javier could give Nicholas anything else that he wanted, but Tristan's head had proved to be a challenge. It was not something one could obtain just because one desired to. If it were that easy, Javier would have done so ages ago. The problem was that even Javier was at a loss. Don't worry about this for now. Just keep an eye on him. Don't think about anything else, ordered Javier. Tristan is not someone you can easily cross. Even Stephen was caught by Tristan. This is no ordinary man. Not everyone will stand a chance against him. Understood, old Mr. Sable. Alex could not help but feel pity for himself for having two difficult and heartless bosses. They did not even care for his life. Before long, Felix had received news that Nicholas was alive and that he wanted Tristan's head. This Nicholas has more lives than a cat. I thought he had died previously. I can't believe that he's still alive. He is Nicholas Sable, after all. He's quite a powerful man, Tristan replied nonchalantly. Even though he could not stand Nicholas, he could not deny the influence the latter had. Now what? He has already given word to hunt you down. Are you not going to do anything about it? Aren't you being too calm? Then what do you suggest? Tristan retorted. Felix shrugged. How am I supposed to know? This is your problem. None of my business. As of then, Felix just wanted to date in peace. He no longer wanted to meddle in other situations. Since you don't have any suggestions, I would advise you to keep your mouth shut. Tristan was not at all bothered by the news. If Nicholas wanted him dead, he would first need the capability to do so. If only one of them could exist in this world, Tristan was sure that it would be himself. Fine. I'm out of here. Felix turned to leave, feeling as though he was only being bullied whenever he was in Lombard group. I might as well go and find my dear Isabel instead. Seeing that there was not much work left, Tristan decided to look for Sophie at the University of Medicine so they could go for lunch together. Before he left, he called Sophie but to no avail. His calls kept going to voicemail. Giving up, he decided to just go to her. When it was time for lunch, Sandra and Simon were waiting outside for Sophie, but the professor was still asking the latter a question. Sophie only came out at 12:30. Didn't I tell you to eat first? Why are you still here waiting for me? She felt apologetic to see that they were still waiting for her. Sandra answered cheerfully, "We aren't such lousy friends. Also, you will be so bored eating by yourself." The three of them frequently ate together. Moreover, it was just waiting for a while. They were naturally willing to wait for her. Okay, let's go. Since it's so cold, let's go eat barbecue. There was a good barbecue place at the University of Medicine. In addition, eating barbecue in this cold weather was ideal. Of course. Let me treat you guys. She felt apologetic about it since they had waited for her for so long. Let's go. It's just barbecue. It doesn't matter who's treating. Simon was not someone short of money. Moreover, how could he let a girl treat him to barbecue? The trio went to the University of Medicine's cafeteria. Since Sophie was busy just now, she didn't have the time to check her phone. She realized she had a few missed calls upon taking out her phone. They were all from Tristan, so she immediately called him back. What happened? Why did you call me so many times? Did something happen? She instantly asked when the call connected. It's nothing. I don't have anything in the afternoon, so I came to eat lunch with you. Where are you now? I've arrived at your campus entrance. Tristan had already arrived at the university. You can head straight to the cafeteria. We're heading there now, so you can wait for us there. Since he was already here, they could have a meal together. Is that Mr. Tristan? Sandra asked once Sophie hung up the phone. Oh, you guys don't mind eating barbecue with him, right? Sophie glanced at her friends. Of course, we don't mind. Why would we mind? Sandra had seen Tristan before, so she was curious about him. Simon felt slightly uncomfortable. Since he liked Sophie, it felt strange that he was going to have lunch with her boyfriend. However, he knew he shouldn't make the situation awkward for Sophie. When the trio reached the cafeteria, Tristan was already waiting for them. Although he was only wearing a black wool coat, he looked unreal standing from afar. His appearance attracted the attention of many females in an instant. It was rare to see such a handsome man, even in the entertainment industry. Sophie, your boyfriend is too handsome. Only Sophie would suit a man like Tristan. Simon naturally noticed Tristan too, and he sighed softly. I'm not worthy. Standing next to Tristan, Simon wouldn't even dare to say he liked Sophie, as the man was simply too outstanding. Even if one didn't know who Tristan was, one would know he wasn't someone to be trifled with from his aura. At this moment, Tristan also noticed Sophie. He walked up to her before wrapping his arms around her waist. Aren't you cold? He decided to hug her since he knew she would be cold. I'm actually not that cold today. Tristan's arrival naturally delighted Sophie. You already know Sandra. This is Simon. He's also our classmate. Sophie then turned to Simon and said, Simon, this is my boyfriend, Tristan. Sophie introduced them to one another. Simon stretched out his hand, and Tristan shook it. Let's go. What do you want to eat? We decided to eat barbecue. You don't mind, do you? The weather was perfect for eating barbecue. I don't mind. Let's go. It's too cold outside. Despite her claims that the weather was fine for her, her hands were icy cold. He placed her hand in his pocket to provide her some warmth. Sandra became even more envious after witnessing Tristan's warm gesture. Damn it! Not only is Sophie's boyfriend this handsome, but he's also caring. How unfair. Simon didn't say anything. Sandra was also aware that Simon had feelings for Sophie. Even though Simon was uncomfortable in this situation, she felt he deserved it since Sophie already had a boyfriend. Simon, are you okay? She queried. I'm fine. He already knew that Sophie didn't like him. Nevertheless, it still hurt slightly when seeing her with her boyfriend since he really liked her. The four entered the barbecue shop. Since it was a cafeteria, there were no private rooms, so they had to sit with others. There were already many people inside. It was initially noisy in the shop. However, everyone quietened down upon seeing Tanner. It was as if they felt that the noisy atmosphere didn't suit his aura. Upon noticing new customers, the shop owner immediately cleaned a table for them. Please wait a moment. There are many customers here, so you guys might have to wait another 20 minutes. The business was thriving, so it would take longer to prepare food because it needed to maintain its quality. It's fine. Go on, Sandra told the shop owner. Tristan took a tissue to clean the seat for Sophie and the table before sitting her down. He wasn't used to eating in such an environment. However, since he was already there, he could only go with the flow. Since others could eat at that place, he naturally could eat the food too. Are you okay with eating here? Sophie was afraid he wasn't used to eating in that environment. It's fine. It's pretty good. Even when he was attending school, he had always eaten in restaurants. He had never been in the school's cafeteria to eat barbecue. However, he suddenly felt younger being in such an environment. I'll just treat this as a new experience. There were many people at the barbecue shop. After waiting for around 20 minutes, the shop owner finally brought their grill to them. Upon seeing the grill had arrived, Simon took the initiative to pick the ingredients. I'll go and pick our ingredients. Sandra instantly stood up. I'm coming along with you. The two headed off to choose their ingredients since the shop was buffet style, where its customers could choose unlimited ingredients. Should I go? Since Tristan had never eaten in such a place, he wasn't clear about what to do. The places he ate at had never required him to do that. He always ate in high-end restaurants, so naturally, the servers would serve him the food. He never had to do anything. There's no need. You're not familiar with this place, so let them do it. They're only taking some food. It's fine. Sophie knew he was unfamiliar with having a meal like that. How could she let him take the food? It does add a tinge of liveliness to this place. He didn't dislike being in a place like that. You call this lively? Sophie was a person who enjoyed the silence, so she felt that it was a noisy place. However, she liked the food there, so she was willing to put up with it. Moreover, she couldn't expect perfection with the shop's affordable prices. Meanwhile, Sandra and Simon were picking some vegetables. Although the dining cost here was not expensive, The restaurant offered various kinds of vegetables to its customers, many of which were wild herbs. The two soon filled their plates with all sorts of vegetables. "Simon, are you okay?" "Actually, you don't have to be so sad. Sophie's boyfriend is so powerful. It's not shameful that you lost to him, right?" All men would feel shame and inferiority in front of Tristan. A man like him was simply outstanding. "I'm fine. Indeed, I'm not ashamed to lose to Mr. Tristan. Besides, only a powerful man like Tristan is worthy of a woman like Sophie. Other men were merely small fries." Although he did feel a little upset, he wasn't ashamed at all. His love had ended before it could even begin. He could only bow out of the competition when he learned that his opponent was Tristan. The duo carried the plates of vegetables over. Meanwhile, Sophie had already placed the fish on the grill. "Let's eat. It's getting late, and I need to take a nap later," Sophie said, but she wondered if she would be able to fall asleep with a full stomach. Tristan got some grilled fish for Sophie and said attentively, "You should eat more." Sophie had a small appetite, and Tristan thought that she should eat more. Sandra was super envious when she saw how caring Tristan was towards Sophie. Not only was Sophie's boyfriend handsome, but he was also very gentle and considerate. This made Sophie an object of jealousy for others. "Simon, I'm tortured by their lovey-dovey acts." Simon didn't want to make any comments. He reckoned he shouldn't have gone there to have a meal with them. "All right. You two help yourselves. I thought you said you wanted to eat barbecue? Why aren't you eating? Relax. Since you are Sophie's friends, you are also my friends too." Indeed, Tristan had a formidable aura, but they were just having a meal and shouldn't act as if they were walking on eggshells. Sandra immediately served Simon a piece of grilled fish. "Enjoy the food." She hoped that food could lighten up his mood. Simon nodded. Tristan was at ease throughout the meal, although he looked quite out of place in the current setting. That was just how he was. As long as he was willing to do so, he could easily adapt to the environment around him. After the meal, Sandra and Simon went back to the dorm. Tristan commented while looking at their leaving figures. "Does Simon have a crush on you?" Sophie's lips quirked into a grin. "Maybe. Why? Are you jealous?" "No. I'm not surprised that he likes you. I will have an exhausted life if I feel jealous of everyone who has a crush on you." Sophie held his arm, and the duo walked toward the car together. The tweed, wool coats wrapped around their slender figures. Both of them had outstanding features and looked like perfect matches for each other. Their presence instantly commanded everyone's attention and envy. When they reached the car, Tristan pulled the door open for Sophie and let her get in the car first. Then, he closed the door and walked to the other side, and got in the car. "It's getting late. Do you still want to go back to rest?" There wasn't much time left for her to nap, even if she went back now. "Yes. I don't have any classes in the evening. I'm going back to my condominium to write my thesis." Her last thesis had been published and seemed to have won an award. She wasn't paying much attention to that, anyway. It was now a norm for her to win awards from time to time. Moreover, she didn't write those papers to win a prize but purely to share some of her thoughts and ideas. "I see. Then let's head back together." Tristan didn't seem to have anything to do in the evening, so he decided to hang out at Sophie's place. "Aren't you quite busy lately? You should get to your business. I don't want to keep you any longer." He really shouldn't spend more time accompanying her. She was an adult and knew how to manage her time. "I'm not that busy, just earning money. I realize now that money doesn't look as fascinating to me as before." "Do you know that your words would piss off those who are jealous of you?" Others were all working like a mule to make money, yet, a wealthy man like him was saying that earning money wasn't fascinating. There was truly a vast difference between one human and the other. "I'm merely telling the truth. Money is nothing but a number to me now." Tristan spoke his mind. Sophie nodded in agreement. She was indifferent to the pursuit of money and felt content as long as she had enough to spend, despite her sometimes being a big spender. To her, It was good enough that she was able to pay her bills from the money she had earned herself. The two chatted while making their way back to the condominium. The slippers in the condominium had been replaced with plush ones, keeping their feet warm. When Tristan bought that condominium, he had it renovated and redecorated. The whole place was installed with floor heating. As the floor heating was turned on, the air in the room became warmer. Tristan and Sophie proceeded to take off their tweed coats. Tristan was wearing a thin shirt without a tie. The first few buttons of the shirt were unbuttoned, revealing his sexy collarbone. Sophie looked at him in a daze. Truth be told, she had known him for quite some time, but she still felt the heavens were biased toward Tristan every time she looked at his perfect face. A perfect man like Tristan was truly a masterpiece. Not a single fault could be found on him. As a result, he was the target of everyone's envy. "What's the matter?" Tristan asked when he noticed Sophie kept staring at him. He wondered if there was something on his face. Sophie stretched her hand out, and Tristan immediately grabbed it. "What's wrong? I'll feel embarrassed if you keep looking at me like this." Sophie pulled him toward her. "It's nothing. I was just thinking about why such a good-looking man would exist in this world. Furthermore, this man is my boyfriend too. He will even become my husband one day and the father of my child. It makes me feel so lucky whenever I think about this." It was the first time Tristan heard her saying words like that. He felt like he was floating on cloud nine just listening to her. "I'm sure we will have a happily ever after. I will live in a future with you and our children by my side." He was very excited about the future. Sophie pulled him over before planting a kiss on his Adam's apple. Tristan's Adam's apple was one of his most sensitive body parts. Yet, Sophie stuck her tongue out and ran it over the area. Tristan could no longer control himself and pressed her against the couch. "Sophie, do you know what you're doing? Do you know that you are driving me crazy?" Tristan's voice was hoarse and full of lust. He could barely contain his desires any further. At the same time, Sophie could clearly feel the warmth and excitement of his towering body pressing against hers. The sight of Sophie's beautiful eyes that sparkled with the radiance of the stars was enough to make one subconsciously lose themselves in their depths. Her soft, red lips moved as she said, "I only did that because I couldn't help myself. It's your fault for having such a sexy Adam's apple." "Is it really that sexy? I'm pretty much perfect from head to toe, but of all things, she likes my Adam's apple?" That discovery left Tristan rather dumbfounded. Finally, he said, "Well, it appears you've taken a particular liking to it." "I have. I think it's very sexy." As she spoke, she could not refrain from licking his throat again. He fell silent, feeling like he was about to lose his mind. "She's going to drive me absolutely crazy with her teasing. She's usually quiet and aloof, but when she starts flirting, it can really get dangerous. I like her so much that just looking at her can make me lose control, let alone when she tempts me the way she's doing now. I'm genuinely worried that sharing a bed with you in the future will be the death of me," he remarked. She stared at him wordlessly. "Is that supposed to be a compliment? It sure doesn't sound like one." "Are you calling me a temptress?" she asked, thinking about how the kings used to die in the beds of such women in ancient times. "Yes, that's right. You're a little temptress," he responded in a low, alluring voice. Leaning forward, he bit her lip gently as punishment. "Her actions may not have been intentional, yet I seem to have fallen under her spell. If that isn't the of work a temptress, then what?" Sophie did not attempt to stop him from kissing her, thinking that was probably the only way to ease his discomfort. As time passed, however, the situation got increasingly out of hand. Seeing him like that made her heart ache. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to tease you. It was honestly a sudden impulse," she explained. Alas, it was always he who ended up suffering. Tristan did not respond. "What else can I say? Can I blame her? I can't." Breathing heavily as he lay on top of her, he could smell her faint fragrance. "I know now's the time I should be going to take a shower. Nonetheless, I don't want to be apart from her. All I want is to lie close to her like this until the end of time. Even if we don't do anything, I'm content with just gazing at her like this. There's no doubt that I've become a person who's easily contented ever since she came into my life." Feeling exhausted after their meal and amorous overture, she soon dozed off on the couch. He got up from the couch gingerly. The sound of her quiet and steady breathing made him feel calm and at ease, giving him a sense of peace and tranquility. After all, isn't this how life is supposed to be? I don't need a love that's grand and spectacular. Just this. A love where we grow old together with neither leaving the other behind. One where we stay by each other's sides for the rest of our lives. Just that is enough. That's genuinely all I need to be content. Everything was too smooth sailing between us in the beginning, so there are times when I can't help but worry whether something will happen in the future. However, no matter what life throws at us, I won't let go of her. As he scooped her up from the couch, he knitted his brows at how little she weighed. Despite his efforts in looking for various top chefs, she still did not eat much and never seemed to have much appetite. She probably only eats to survive. I've never seen her particularly enjoy any food. Arius did not expect that Tristan would go to find him. As long as the two were together, the former would inevitably be on the losing end, so he harbored an extreme dislike for the latter. Hence, when Arius heard the doorbell and opened the door, only to see Tristan standing outside, he made to slam the door shut. However, Tristan pushed the door open forcefully. "What do you think you're doing? This is my house. I don't want to see you now, so can you get out already?" Arius demanded angrily. Ever since he appeared, Sophie doesn't love me anymore. So, naturally, I don't like him. Can't you quit being so childish? I'd only be here if I have something important to talk to you about, Tristan replied. Does he seriously think I have so much free time to come all the way here and bicker with him otherwise? You have to talk to me about something? You. Really? Go ahead, then. What is it? Let's see whether I'm in the mood to help you out, Arius said arrogantly. He had his moods too, and he was not about to help Tristan just because that was what the latter wanted. It's about Sophie, Tristan revealed, stating the reason for his visit without beating around the bush. Arius truly cared for Sophie, so he always treated any matters relating to her seriously. He immediately stepped aside to let Tristan into the house. What is it? Did something happen to her? Hasn't she been with you all this while? What have you done to her? Tristan headed straight into the living room and sat on the couch. You've known Sophie for a long time, haven't you? I was wondering, did she always have such a small appetite? Ah, so that's why you're here. It seems that you've really fallen for her, Arius remarked. Indeed, how little she eats has always been an issue. I've tried getting all kinds of different chefs, but no matter what they cook, she only eats a little. Sophie was too thin, and Tristan was very concerned about that. That's how she's always been. As long as her health is fine, you don't have to worry too much about it, Arius said. He, too, was at a loss for how to deal with that matter. Is there no solution to it? Asked Tristan. Arius shook his head, feeling utterly helpless. To be honest, even as a doctor, I've no way of dealing with that. At first, he had worried about it too. However, after observing that Sophie's health did not seem to be affected even though she did not eat much, he did not interfere. After all, there was nothing others could do if she did not want to eat more. Perhaps you could try cooking for her yourself? If you're the one who prepared the food, she might eat more of it, don't you think? He suggested. Isn't that what others refer to as the power of love? But seeing as you're so busy, I suppose you won't take the time to cook for her, Arius added after a pause, thinking that people who managed their time down to the second like Tristan would never be willing to spend so much time on a woman. Will she eat it if I'm the one who prepared it? Tristan wondered aloud. It was not that he was reluctant to spend all that time on cooking, but more so that he worried his cooking would suck and that Sophie would still force herself to eat it because of him. How will you know if you don't give it a go? Arius quipped. Regardless of what it is, we've got to give things a try to know how they'll turn out, right? All right. Got it. Are you serious about that? I was only joking. Even if you do that, she might not like it, Arius said quickly, slightly regretting his words. This guy has led a pampered life, so I'm worried whether what he cooks will end up giving Sophie food poisoning or not. If it does, I'll be the main culprit. Don't worry. It'll be fine. It's just cooking a meal. With my intelligence, I can definitely learn how to do it. For Sophie's sake, Tristan was willing to try anything, even if the odds of it working were only 1,000,000 to 1. Arius was bereft of words. If Sophie finds out what I've done, she'll skin me alive. Sarah was the first to find out that Tristan was learning how to cook. This brother of mine has been living a pampered life since young. Even when he's abroad, he has never cooked for himself. However, now that he's the CEO of a company, he's actually learning to cook? This is unbelievable. When she saw the man bustling away in the kitchen, she couldn't believe her eyes at first. This is a miracle. That being said, being in the kitchen didn't diminish his charm at all. He's still as handsome and cool as ever. With that thought in mind, Sarah simply stood by the kitchen doorway and continued watching her brother. Mr. Lombard, care to share with me what got you suddenly interested in cooking? Is the cook no longer good enough for you? To be honest, even I, as a woman, don't like to cook. It's a tiring chore, after all. Besides, we're the rich and elite, and there's nothing in the world that we can't afford to eat, so why bother learning cooking? In response, Tristan simply kept his gaze trained on the pot of soup he was cooking. He didn't feel like entertaining his sister, for he knew she was only there to tease him, and she would be of no help at all. I just felt like learning it. Why? Is it a crime? Of course not. I was just curious why a scion like yourself has a sudden interest in cooking. Indeed. Sarah's curiosity was piqued. To that, Tristan replied flatly. There is no why. I haven't mastered cooking yet, so why would I tell her anything? Nonetheless, with how smart I am, it won't be long before I'm good at it. When he saw that the soup was almost ready, he turned off the stove. Looking into the pot, he reckoned that the mushroom soup seemed rather presentable. Sarah leaned over as well. It looks good, but I wonder how's the taste. Give it a try then. After you do, tell me if Sophie would like it. Tristan ladled some of the mushroom soup into a bowl and handed it to her before giving her an expectant look. Hearing that, Sarah finally understood why her brother was learning to cook. She commented, "My dear brother, are you telling me that the reason why you're learning cooking is for Sophie's sake? I guess that makes sense." After all, Tristan has never been picky about his food. Normally, a meal made by an average 5-star chef would be able to meet his needs. There's no reason for him to cook for himself. Tristan uttered, "I'm still in the process of mastering it, so don't tell anyone about this, got it? I wonder who's the person who told her that I'm learning to cook. After all, there's only a handful of people who knows about this." That being said, I don't really mind that Sarah found out. At least this way, I won't need to find myself a lab rat since she's going to be the perfect candidate for this. Well aware of what her brother was thinking, Sarah said, "There's no reason for you to know who I found this out from." Of course, if she actually knew that her brother was thinking of making her a lab rat, she would have flipped out. Sarah blew on the still steaming soup. Since it was just out of the pot, it was boiling hot. After a moment, she took a sip. Seeing that she finally tasted it, Tristan asked immediately, "How is it? Is the taste okay?" Soup is the easiest dish to cook, and it wasn't really hard when I was making it. I'm just curious about how it tastes. To that, Sarah took another spoonful and said, "The taste is all right, but I think you may have gone a bit too heavy on the salt. Next time, put a little less. After all, soup always tastes better if it's less rich." Really? Tristan was doubtful of his sister's words since he had followed the recipe to a T. It doesn't make sense for it to be too salty. I feel like her requirement is just too high, what with her being a great cook and all. He then added, You know what, let me get 2 more people here to try it." When Isabel received a phone call from Tristan, she was left rather baffled. After all, Her uncle hadn't cared about her much ever since he fell in love. Why would Uncle Tristan call me out of the blue? When they arrived at the condominium near the University of Medicine, Isabel was a little confused by the 2 bowls of soup on the table. Did my uncle really call us here just to have some soup? Similarly, Felix was just as puzzled when he saw the bowls of soup. He queried, "Mr. Tristan, did you call us here just to have some soup? Sarah, did you make this?" They knew how busy Sarah was and how she seldom had the time to make soup for everyone at home. That being said, there is no doubt that the soup Sarah makes will be delicious. Sarah denied it immediately. "Don't look at me. I'm not the one who made the soup. I can't possibly take Tristan's credit. If it wasn't you who made it, could it be that Uncle Tristan made it?" Isabel was in disbelief. "But that's impossible. Uncle Tristan can probably whip up some oatmeal at most." Sarah nodded. "The soup's indeed made by your uncle. I guess you can call this the power of love. Felix, do take some pointers from this." Felix was left dumbfounded. He then blurted, "Mr. Tristan, are you really the one who made the soup? Are you sure? What happened to you? What's with the sudden interest in making soup?" Tristan urged. "All right, that's enough nonsense from you. Hurry up and give it a try. I didn't ask them here to gossip. All I want is for them to try the soup." Noticing that his patience was running thin, Isabel and Felix quickly gave the soup a try. The taste is passable. It's not as delicious as the one that Sarah makes, that's for sure. Nonetheless, Tristan's the one who made this soup, so there's no way we can say that it tastes average. The 2 exchanged glances and kept silent, not wanting to share their opinion, for they didn't have the courage to do so. Seeing this, Sarah felt like laughing. She jested, "With how cowardly they are, do you really think they'll tell you the truth? Just tell me what you honestly think." "I won't do anything to you," said Tristan. "It's not like I'm a violent person, am I? All I want is the truth." Isabel began. "Well, I'll put it this way. I think your cooking still has room for improvement, Uncle Tristan. My uncle is a terribly smart man. It won't do me good if I lie to him." Felix nodded in agreement. "I think so too. But to be able to produce such a result when you've only just started is already a commendable feat. I'm sure you'll be a great cook in the future," he added, not forgetting to slip in a few flattering words while he was at it. Just then, Sophie arrived home, only to see the group of people when she opened the door. "It's so lively here. What's the occasion? Why are you guys here?" she asked as she took off her shoes. Tristan never expected her to come home at a time like this. Sarah piped up. "It's nothing. We just missed you, so we decided to pay you a visit." Naturally, she was aware of what her brother was thinking. He's just started learning to cook, and he doesn't want Sophie to find out about it yet. That's why he's scrambling to do this when she's not home. After changing into her slippers, Sophie walked in to see the 2 bowls of unfinished soup on the table. She asked, "Sarah, did you purposely come here to make us soup?" Although the soup that Sarah makes is indeed delicious, is everyone really here just for that? Sarah shook her head. "No, I didn't make the soup. Tristan's doing all this for Sophie's sake. It'll be for the best if she knows about it."
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.